Let's look at the international realm. When you were with Porter Novelli, it had many offices across the globe in the 90s or something, and thousands of clients. And you became an expert at counseling the international clients. Can you share any experiences that highlight the, again, it's challenges, but in the realm of the international, that a challenge or a certain situation that you handled when you were counseling in this international realm?
I think one of the companies has certainly gotten much better at their global communications. Public relations is, even though we have global programs and we deal with the global entities, it's still a local profession in the sense that you're dealing with people who live in the community, customers, you know, you have different cultures, you have different languages, you have different practices, all that stuff. So you overlay global on top of that, and it's very tempting to say one message is going to be, you know, the message, and there's nothing wrong with that, don't get me wrong. You have to have a sure sense of who you are as an organization, but, you know, I have always found that very often the non-invented here syndrome, you know, reigns supreme in many organizations. So if you, I'll relate a story. This was actually a couple of years ago, but I think it was a good eye opener for everybody. We were working on a program for a new drug launch. It was going to be a global entity, and we had the client. It was a big pharmaceutical company, had a group of people that would come together twice a year, and we would share the marketing and the public relations stories and sort of what we were working. Now, the company was a U.S. company, but the people running the program were from the U.K. Make a long story short, I remember distinctly, we were going around the table, and everybody was presenting sort of what they were doing in their market. And the Italians got up, and everybody, you know, starts looking at their watch, and it was really rude. So the guy from Italy gets up, and he describes the program they're doing, and he says, and the guy from Spain who's sitting across the table says, you know, we like that program so much that we adopted it too. It was a great idea. And the thing that was so remarkable to me was you could see sort of the Brits and the Americans going, you know, like they could come up with a great idea like that, you know, and that's not it's not that it was because they happened to be Italian or Spanish, but it was because it wasn't UK, you know, or US. And I think one of the things that global, I've always tried to counsel global companies, and including at Porter Novelli, you know, that great ideas can come from any place. And you have to have mechanisms and a way for people to share those, that they can filter up through an organization so you have a chance to appraise them and see if they fit, you know, in a greater context. And certainly, you know, one of the basic fundamentals of any relationship, including that of your own employees, is making sure that people feel that they're getting credit for having come up with something, even if it never ends up getting implemented, you know, but at least people feel that someone's been listening to them and understands, here's what they've been able to say. And I think that's extremely powerful on a global scale, and it's something you can easily overlook. So I'm not sure how I would formulate that right now today in some advice I'd give a client, but I do think that that's, you know, one of the things from a global perspective you have to really pay attention to.